Good morning from a rainy, wet, cold Pacific Northwest. It's quite chilly outside right now. Had a snow on Saturday, and it got pretty cold for out here. It was like in the mid-teens for a couple days, and then we had an ice storm 2 days ago overnight. Ended up with about a half an inch ice. So I'm in my workshop. Took a day off of work today, couldn't get out of the driveway. It was just, I wasn't chancing it. But I have the car in the workshop, so I'm basically working in a one-car garage. Today's project, I'm going to be hopefully getting these on the wall finally. They're hanging up in the rafters. I'm tired of walking around them. I got some pipe clamps on the floor over here. These I barely bumped one day and they all fell off on the floor. So the pipe clamps are kind of dangerous hanging up there. I just want to get all this stuff off those rafters, hanging on the wall. I have universal clamp rack plans from Jonathan Katz-Moses website. Gonna be making those today. Hopefully today. It's still pretty chilly out here. I don't know how my glue is. I left my glue out here, but we'll see. Here's the space I'm working with. See, left the car in here because I didn't want to get it covered with ice. It's still raining outside, still pretty icy, but this is the area, this is the space I'm working in. We'll see how this goes. Was doing some rooting around, and I knew I saved pieces for some reason. I had a whole bunch of these 1-inch strips, and I don't have to cut these 1-inch strips out of my plywood, and I keep a bigger piece of scrap because as a woodworker, you know you have to keep all the scraps, and you might use it someday.
Here I am getting ready to cut down the strips for the main parts of the clamp racks. Trying to muscle around this about 4-foot square piece of plywood next to my car is not the most fun thing. One of those things I guess I took for granted over the years, having a 2-car garage at my 2.5-car garage at my former house and a 3-car garage here, just having the room to move. So working in this confined space was a bit challenging, but we got it done here. Now to cut down the 1.5-inch strips that I need for the spacers for those larger pieces, since I already had the 1-inch strips, sitting there off to the side because I kept those for future. But just making my way through, cutting them off, and away we go. Now to cut the pairs of parts. For this, I just cut off one sample to the exact size I needed, and then put it right up against the blade, cut my next part to make them all the same. One of these days I'll get the right side of the chop saw station here completed, have a few cabinets and with the bench top, and then I can make my stop blocks in there and make that life a whole lot easier. You can see here as I'm cutting, this piece falls off onto the table saw, and I didn't like how it was falling off there. So in a second here, I grab a piece of 3/4 inch plywood and kind of lay it there next to the, not like right next to the blade, there's some space in there, just so that way that piece doesn't fall off onto the table saw and go flying up in the air. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute here.
Well, that worked all right. If I was to change this, do that again, I probably would do it like my picture frame jig is, where I could have it like set like that and run it in so that both pieces are on here, instead of having that piece over there just kind of floating about. I didn't like that. And then even I have some hold down clamps hiding in one of my boxes. I could have put the hold down clamp on here to hold this down, then I could concentrated more on pushing this through and getting this clean. But yeah, that worked out good.
Here I am, nipping off the ends of these pieces that make up the sides of the clamps. It just makes life easier. Those will just break off at some point in time anyway. Time to assemble the pieces for the clamps to hang from. 2 sides and a spacer block. Sanding off the pre-finished part of the plywood. Glue doesn't stick to that. Oh, bless you. But yeah, this is just some leftover pre-finished plywood that I had. Glue, found out making drawers, the glue doesn't stick to stick to that, so I sanded that off. Just throwing a few brads here while the glue dries. Hopefully the glue dries very well, because it was chilly out there, as you can see from my breath.
Now that I've got this part together, now I'm just attaching the cleat part. I cut the cleats, just attaching that to this. Just like that. Rinse and repeat for all these others. And then we'll let the glue dry a little bit. We try not to get glue on our table saw. That's too late.
Now to get the cleats hung up on the wall, cut some 3/4 inch plywood at 45-degree angle on it. Had some spacer blocks, determined I needed to be about 8 inches down from the top of the wall to the first one, so I just spaced them at 8 inches. We'll see how that goes. But I just pre-drilled some holes in here and then ran screws into the wall. That's One of the good parts about having wood on the walls is I can just run a screw in wherever I need to. Don't have to really worry about it. Well, let's hang some clamps on the wall, see how this thing works out.
Yep, there's the clamp rack. Got them all nice, neat, and organized now. Hanging on the wall with French cleats. It's a nice, easy system to use. You can move things around much easier. So now the clamps are hanging up on the rafters up here, hitting me in the head. No, wait, that's me hitting my head on them. And then also they like to fall off through vibrations of the garage door, opening the garage door. They just fall on the ground and damage things and damage themselves. But I got this up on the wall now, and that'll serve me well. Pretty good. I can probably even hang this up there. Cool. More stuff off the floor. Well, have more clamp racks down there, more clamps down there, more pipe clamps. Whole little bucket full of pipe clamps. I had a lot of clamps. I built an old Norm clamp rack that he did on the new Yankee workshop for his garage shop build, I think it was. But I had a nice clamp rack in my old shop. But this will work nice. It'll be nice, neat, and organized. I have a couple blue tape marks on the wall. I'm gonna have some cabinets on that side, and then I'll have, this is probably the end of where my plywood storage is gonna be, on the bottom half over here. Up above, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but all this stuff is gonna be going into cabinets down here. I still have a bunch more cabinets to make, drawers to make, figure out things down here. So looking forward to making some more videos on that. I'm hoping everybody's enjoying it. If you like it, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. All in all, just be kind to each other. Make this world a better place. Have a good one. Later.
Hey, Mia. What are you doing today? Hi.